What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to JJD TV. I'm your host, Josh, and we are here for a little impromptu rebuild/contract talks. I saw a couple things today that were going around the internet of the expiring contracts in 2021, as well as also the expiring contracts in 2022. And then there was a lot of talk of potential rebuilds and kind of what that would look like going forward. So I figured as a fun little stream with you guys, I would be bringing up the contracts that are expiring in 2021 and the contracts that are expiring in 2022. I think we try to go through them a little bit as a chat, say what we think about each contract, if we should extend, if we should not worry about it, if we should let it run its course. And also a few Legends contracts are also running down there because the number one thing that I've been mentioning of late is that this could be a potential rebuild, a real overhaul of the squad, and a lot of these contracts that are coming up are going to be vital in that. They're either going to be having to be let go because they're no longer a requirement, or it's going to be a big decision whether to re-sign this player because they're a potential legend, because they have potential to become a world-class player. There's a lot of different things that are going on right here, so without further ado, might as well get into it. We'll bring up our expiring contracts in 2021, and I'll discuss with you guys what you guys think about that and what we should do going forward. And looking at a few of the comments already, we see someone asking what it's about, and Agent says read the title, and that's that hashtag late, but we extended it. We extended it for a couple minutes, so, you know, we're fine. Sancho Flow is here. How you doing, my friend? I know it's a very late little stream for some of you guys, but it really did catch my attention when I took a look and obviously saw these names that are popping up. So Producer T put a nice little graphic here on the schedule, and expiring contracts in 2021, we have 4 of them. We have 2 club legends in Lukasz, Piszczek, Marcel, Schmelzer. We have our backup goaltender in Marwin, Hitz, and of course Felix, Passlack. So if you guys want to let me know in the comments what your guys' thoughts are on these players, if you want to let them run their course and move on, if you were thinking of potentially pass them in a contract extension, I will give you my opinions first and we'll dive into yours. So for me, for the 2 club legends, for Lukasz, Piszczek, and Schmelzer, I'm assuming they will be getting contracts, but the contracts will be more the line of a potential managerial-ish coaching position in some way, shape, or form. These are 2 long-serving club legends. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and that's a tricky thing when it comes to a club, is when their legends are kind of on their way out, you want to approach it and make sure that they go out with just the utmost respect. I don't personally believe, and I don't personally think that Schmelzer or Piszczek will get a contract extension, but I do hope that they stay involved with Borussia Dortmund, and I honestly think they will, because they were such good personalities to have for all of these years, especially, I mean, Piszczek being, in my opinion, one of the best right backs ever played in the Bundesliga, as well as Schmelzer being just that Dortmund blood. I want to keep them in our organization because they honestly deserve it. Piszczek is obviously retiring, like the yellow wall has alluded to, but there is a possibility that, I mean, yes, he's expiring, retiring, however you want to put it, but there is an opportunity to potentially bring him into the club, though. Like, even though it's not on a player basis, I would love to have Piszczek stay and potentially be some type of backroom staff. I'm not exactly sure what the fit could be, and I'm curious to see what you guys think about it, but I love Piszczek. I've had so many good memories of him, and I'm hoping that he stays in the organization. And I don't know exactly what it could be, and I'll go into the questions once I get through it, but I don't really want to see him walk. I think a lot of players who have done so much for the club like Piszczek could have the potential to immediately go into some type of role with the club, and I desperately hope that happens, just because I've had nothing but great memories with him. Schmelzer is another interesting one, but I'll go through a few of the comments because I'll probably miss some if I don't get them right now. So, Josh, what do you think about Alfonso Areola, the PSG guy? I believe he is on. I think he's still at PSG, but he's on loan at Fulham. I can't remember if he actually got sold to Madrid or not, but I think he's a class keeper, and his contract actually expires this summer. Would you get him for a free? Absolutely, I would. I mean, we can jump to Marwin Hitz right now, and I mean, for me, for Marwin Hitz, it wouldn't bother me if we gave him a contract extension for a year, and it wouldn't bother me really if we let him go. I would potentially love to see the Alfonso Areola, for example, coming to Dortmund. I don't know which goalie. I haven't done a lot of thinking about what goaltender I'd like to potentially come to see the club. That's why it wouldn't bother me if we went for Hitz. I don't know the money situation. I still think that there's a few other positions that need to be addressed before we go ahead and sign, for example, goaltenders, and even left backs or right backs are for me, two and three different positions that potentially aren't going to be looked at very thoroughly, because I think that they do believe that Berkey's the man going forward, and of course, Hitz could potentially be a backup. So for me, I mean, I wouldn't mind at all if Hitz didn't get re-signed and we signed someone like Areola. So I definitely rate him. I think he's doing a good job at Fulham right now, and I think if we offered him an opportunity to come to Dortmund, he may take it. And then a few people said yes, Piszczek is retiring, and that he did announce that he was retiring at the start of the season. And that is, I mean, that is true. We know he's not going to start his playing career, but I wanted to see if you guys thought that he would come back in some type of backroom staff role, just because he's, I mean, when you think of a right back position for Borussia Dortmund, as far back as 2010, you think of Lukasz Piszczek. I mean, he's been such a huge role for this team, and I'd love to see him stay with the organization. Hopefully there will be some fans to send him off. Ryan, that's very true. Doesn't he have a BVB youth academy in Poland too? And I did read a couple articles about him being linked to some type of Poland job. I don't know exactly where it was, if it was in the international team, if it was in one of the, say, U21 teams. But I would love to see him stay somehow in Dortmund. And imagine Piszczek as a manager and Schmelzer as an assistant manager. You know, I mean, you never know. I think both of them deserve and probably at some point will be involved in Borussia Dortmund's staff at some point during their retirements or whatever they may do, just because of, I don't know, it is what it is. You see how many legends with Dortmund are still with the organization to today. A lot of them are obviously very high up, so it wouldn't surprise me if either one of them stayed. Piszczek should clean Dortmund's toilets. Wow. Okay, I'm going to roll over that one. Do you hear the links to Neuhaus? Yes, I did, and we'll be touching on some of those rumors in a video that'll come out later this week that I hope you guys will enjoy. There's more of a chance of Schmelly getting some game time. And for me, I don't know. Schmelzer is an interesting one just because, like, again, being a club legend, I don't believe he'll be playing for another club. I don't know. I don't know what the right decision with Schmelzer is, just because it's that kind of fragile line of him being so important to this team over the years, and obviously he's not a starting figure anymore, but he is still an icon, so it's, I don't know. I don't know exactly what happened with him. With Hitz, again, for me, take it or leave it, whether he signs a new contract for a year or we go for another goaltender that could potentially overtake Berkey, which I guess I would probably prefer that. And then, of course, Passlack, who I don't know as well. I mean, I don't mind Passlack for a utilities player, considering he can play on the right and the left, but I don't know if he's going to want to re-sign. I don't know what we're going to be offering him. I'm curious to see what you guys are thinking as well. Hitz is a class backup. What do you mean? I never said he wasn't a class backup, but there was rumors that Hitz wants to potentially move on to probably get some more game time, which obviously makes a lot of sense. And that's what I meant. For me personally, like, I wouldn't mind at all if we gave Hitz another contract, because, I mean, like you said, he's a solid backup goaltender. He's arguably one of the best backup goaltenders in the Bundesliga. But, I mean, if he doesn't want to get re-signed, I think it'll probably come down to him. I think Dortmund more than likely will offer him some type of deal, and then he'll either want to stay because he likes the club and doesn't mind his role as a backup goaltender, or he'll probably reject it, which is what I kind of think he does, and will go out and hopefully try to find a starting spot somewhere. So that's my opinion on Hitz. But I have no problem with him whatsoever being a backup goalie for us. No, he's on loan from PSG. Real didn't buy him. I would love Areola in Dortmund. He's a Dortmund type of goalie. Alex well said, and I agree too, especially because he's going around on loan. I mean, it's a possibility that he could, well, not get loaned out, because I guess he could be a free agent, which makes it even easier. But I rate that. I haven't heard any type of rumors linking us to another goaltender though, but I mean, that is definitely one that comes to mind. We have some type of United fan in here, so we're just going to kind of roll over that. If would be Sancho, I have offers from Manchester United, City, and I would choose City. Hitz is an okay backup. Yep, he is, and like I said, I'd have no problem with Hitz getting re-signed. But I just have a feeling, I don't know, I think he's going to, at his stage in his career, probably want to move on and potentially find another home where he could potentially get a little bit of minutes, because I don't see him getting a ton of minutes staying with BVB. Passlack is a good third choice. Passlack is amazing backup. I love him. And I like Passlack as well, too, because his heart, which is something I've always liked, the passion he brings. I also like that he's versatile. We've seen him play left back. We've seen him play right back. He can play as a wing back. He even plays as a right midfielder. But again, his story is kind of similar to Hitz, where it's, will he get the minutes? Will will they want to get moved on and go find a club that could potentially play him week in, week out, or does he like his game time right now with Dortmund? And there's an argument for both because, I mean, he is a long-term Dortmund boy, so he may like that, or he may want to go take his luck elsewhere. But, I mean, for me, no matter what happens with Piszczek and Schmelzer, I just hope no matter what after their playing careers, in my opinion, I hope that they stay somehow with the club, whether it be in a youth team, in the backroom staff. I don't know. I have such a soft spot for both of them, and I would love to see them stay with their organization. And then Marwin, Hitz, and Passlack, again, have the same answer for me, is I wouldn't mind offering them both 1-2 year contracts because I think Hitz is a good, solid backup goalie, which is what a lot of you guys are thinking as well. And Passlack's a good utilities guy, and that's the perfect way to kind of describe him. It's just the only thing against that is if both of them want to go out for more game time, they're more than happy to probably let their contracts run down, and they're going to probably look to find a club that can give them those type of minutes. All right, I will not ignore you. United is the best club in England. It's not true, but send Holland and Sancho to United. Not going to happen. Why you ignore me? Because you say funny things. I talk about Sancho. You realistically, if you're going to get anyone, you may get Sancho, but I mean, I don't know if he wants to go anymore. You had your opportunity, did not work out. Piszczek for manager. Passlack is an amazing backup. Yes, he is. He said that Sancho will leave this summer with a cheaper price tag. I don't know about that, how much cheaper, just because I still think Sancho's got so much value to him being a young Englishman. But hi from Ecuador. What do you think about the Royce situation at the poor performance after the weekend? Hello, my friend from Canada. I think Royce is due for a break. I think the next game against Augsburg, we should probably go with a different formation. And potentially I'm not saying drop Royce for every single game, and that's what I tried to stress in the last time I did this, but I think that Royce is well due for a rest. He's had a ton of minutes lately, and it's just kind of his time. And I put a little formation out there in a 4-1-4-1. More than likely will not happen. More than likely we'll play again in a 4-2-3-1, which will probably see Brandt and Gio play. But, I mean, I don't think Royce is in poor form by any stretch. I think him missing that penalty shot really kind of threw off his game, and I think he's about time to have a nice little rest, and hopefully he'll bounce back at the following game. If Hitz does reject the contract, yeah. And we could easily promote within. I mean, honestly, I like the idea of going for like Areola a little bit more than promoting within, but I mean, we could definitely promote within. There's a lot of solid goaltenders in our second team, and it could be potentially getting them up and giving them a little more experience. I don't have an issue with that as well. Holland is a fan for Leeds. His father has been linked with City. Yeah, but yeah, those are the contracts here. So now we're going to jump on over to the contracts from 2022, which is also going to be very interesting because, I mean, we know it's only a year and a bit away, but these are still some pretty important contracts that are coming up. And there's a couple big names on there, as one you could obviously probably tell from the thumbnail that we're going to get into. But before we do, I'll just address a couple more comments a little bit quickly. Reyna has to start next game. Agents, I definitely agree, and I think he will. I think Reyna will start it on the left, and Brandt will be our cam, if I'm being totally honest. By the way, I told you Holland got injured and they would lose some of his form. He sort of did, sort of didn't. I mean, Holland's had a couple quiet games since he came back from his injury, but he's also had some games where he's scored a few goals. So, I mean, I wouldn't say he completely lost his form, and he's still scoring goals for fun. But these are the contracts expiring in 2022, and these are some of the big ones to take a look at. I mean, right off the bat, I'm very confident that Zagadou will get re-signed. I think Zagadou, just being his age, knowing how important he is going to be for the team, I can't see them by any stretch of the imagination letting Zagadou go. And I personally would absolutely extend Zagadou's contract. Same as Delaney and same as Raschl. And other than that, the other four, in my opinion, can be up for debate. Zagadou, for sure. We absolutely have to, as well as Delaney. I think Delaney's got a lot of years still left in the tank. But if you look at those four other players here, there's a debate for both. I mean, we can address Dahoud immediately if you want to, considering and again, I'm going to be talking about him more in our transfers episode coming up. But Dahoud's more than likely, if he doesn't leave in January, he'll more than likely be leaving in the summer. There's no way, I don't think, that he'll stay till 2022. They'll probably look to get a little bit of money from him because he's clearly not in the plans for Dortmund. And then with Akanji, I wouldn't be against giving Akanji an extension. I really like Akanji, and I think he's going to have a lot of value. So there's no point of honestly letting Akanji's contract run down, considering that if we re-sign him and we do eventually want to sell him, he's still got a sell-on clause. And he will still be able to get some money back for him. And obviously Raschl, we're just going to want to re-sign because, you know, he's young, he's talented, he's a solid center defensive mid who could potentially break into this team. But the two wild cards, in my opinion, on this list, because I would re-sign 4. I'd include Akanji in that. I would let Dahoud walk because, I mean, he's just wanted. But Witsel and Hummels are the ones that I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. Now, I love Hummels, and I think he's, in my opinion, a club legend as well. And I honestly love Witsel just as much. Like, I love them both. But looking at their age and looking what our team is going to look like if we're doing a rebuild. And a lot of the times when you look at a rebuild, you look to get rid of some of your vets. Not all of your vets, but some of your vets. And I don't know what to think about Hummels and Witsel. And I don't know if they would want to re-sign a 1 to 2 year deal, which is, I'm assuming, at the max that's what they would get. So that one is up for debate. I mean, I don't think I can give a correct answer on it right now. I think we need to play out and see how their form is looking until 2022. If they want to stay, how their minutes are looking, because that's going to be a huge telltale. I mean, I don't think either one of them are going to want to sit on the bench. So if they're not getting into the team on a regular basis at the end of 2022, both of them may walk. But those are some big names that come to an end in 2022, and a lot of them need to be addressed quickly. Like, for me, Zagadou, Delaney need to be up there, and even Akanji have to be addressed right away. But we'll see what you guys have to say about it. I demand Hummels stays. And he could, but again, it's going to depend on how he feels. I mean, he'll be, at that time, 33, 34? It's a different Hummels. I mean, we already know Hummels' pace is a bit of an issue right now, but I mean, he's still a class defender in my opinion. Hummels, Witsel, Delaney are leaders. That is true, and it's another way to look at it. We always had a very young team. That's what Dortmund's all about. I mean, for me, yeah, all 3 of those players have worn the armband at some point in the last 2 seasons. Hummels wears it a lot. Delaney gets it from time to time, and so does Witsel. So you are absolutely right. Those are all leaders in the dressing room. Raschl could be our future. 100% agree. What's up, Josh? Not much, my friend. We're just kind of, discussing the potential rebuild, what that will look like, and if these players will get extensions or not. Akanji makes too many mistakes on our defense. Yes, but I mean, a lot of times you see it no matter what. No matter if it's a player who is going to be very, very important, or here's another perfect example, Milik, who just got loaned out from Napoli over to Marseille. His contract expires this summer, and there was talks of an extension. You see this with Chelsea a lot too. They re-sign their players even though they have absolutely no intention on keeping them, and then they either sell them on so they don't lose money, or they loan them out. And I mean, Akanji, I don't think we would loan out, but I don't think we want to let him walk for free because he's a solid defender who is relatively young and will still be worth a decent chunk of money. So either, in my opinion, depending on what they want to do with Akanji, they sell him this current summer if he's not in their future, or they re-sign him. It's got to be one of the two. No way they're going to let him walk for free. Hypothetically speaking, thoughts on Renato Sanchez coming to us? I would take Renato Sanchez in a heartbeat. I don't think that's probably possible, mainly because I don't think he had a very good experience playing for Bayern. I think he'd rather take his shot over in the Premier League, if I'm being completely honest. Dahoud will probably never play for us again. I think that is absolutely true. For me, Zag, Hummels, Delaney, Raschl, and maybe Witsel keep. Zagadou, I know for sure, is probably going to get re-signed. Same as Delaney. Raschl again as well. Witsel, I just think the two wild cards are Witsel and Hummels, just because of their age and if they are going to want to get re-signed or not. We have many players on that position. We don't need Sanchez. Yeah, and I don't think, I mean, the only CDM I could really see coming would be Neuhaus, depending on if Rose comes or not. But we will be seeing some players leave, like Dahoud will open up a spot as well. So, I mean, you never know. And Witsel is aging. He is. Hummels has to go. He doesn't blame himself ever, always blames others. I wouldn't say he has to go by any means, but I think at the end of 2022, depending on what type of player we still have in Mats Hummels, will be kind of the tell. Just sell Akanji, Dahoud, Delaney in the summer, and even Witsel and Hummels, and get some cash for new defenders. I hope Zagadou's, Christensen, Ballardi, and the future defense. So, I mean, I definitely wouldn't sell Delaney. I think Thomas Delaney's still got a future here at Dortmund. Akanji can be a debate. And like I said, there's two options in my opinion with Akanji. We sell him this summer, or we re-sign him this summer. Because like I said, like Dortmund with the COVID situation aren't going to want to throw away a player who's still worth a decent chunk of change. And, I mean, Dahoud's not much of a debate. He may be gone in January. I doubt it because of our CDM situation, but he may be gone at some point. But it'll be interesting. Depends on the Witsel's injury in the future. That is true. If we were talking money-wise, we would sell Witsel and Hummels because their price really drops. That is very fair, and that's why I think, again, I mentioned that they are the wild cards. Their age at the end of 2022 will be, I think, 33 and 34. And it's tough, and they will not get long-term contracts. They will get one at the absolute max 2 years. But, I mean, I think at that time it's going to be very different-looking Dortmund side, and it wouldn't surprise me at the end of 2022, both of those players walk for free. But, I mean, they're both leaders and huge parts of this team, so you never honestly know. Which player would you sign for BVB? I mean, there's a lot of them. There's none that's going to happen, obviously, in January, but I mean, Donny Malen is one who comes to mind for me personally. And then in the center back position, we need a bunch, in my opinion. I'm not exactly sure who I want to see come in at this moment. I've talked about Boubacar Kamara a lot. Christensen, I wouldn't mind as well. I feel like if they don't play Zagadou, I think he'll want to move. He's young and probably wants minutes. It's an interesting story as well. We have 3 center backs. With Zagadou's injury, we have 2, but Zagadou should have been getting into the lineup a lot more. I do agree with that. He's fighting his way back in. Hopefully he comes back from injury soon, and he will get more of a chance, because if he doesn't, it's going to be interesting to see how much he's going to want to stay with the club if he can't seem to break in the starting 11. Weston McKennie should have came to BVB. An American link with Gio could have been nice. Weston McKennie is playing some phenomenal football at Juventus right now. I would have took McKennie in a heartbeat, but that Schalke connection, I think, would have put a stop to that. Witsel should get sold. We have way too many midfielders. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think, again, I don't think he'll be sold. If anything, I think Witsel will see out his contract. Same with Hummels. I don't think either one will be sold, and they potentially could walk in 2022. Witsel and Delaney are leaders, and Hummels is our vice captain, so they should stay. Akanji should be a future leader, and why should we sell 2 of our 3 center backs? I mean, hopefully by the time 2022 comes, it'll be a different looking back line. We'll hopefully have a lot more center backs at that time, but they are leaders right now, and I mean, I don't see them getting sold in the current summer, but if any of them, it could be Akanji, in my opinion. If we lose to Union Berlin, Hummels will definitely lose his mind and leave this summer. Raschl is still young to let go. I would loan him or give him time. Yeah, I think he'll be re-signed and then more than likely integrated into a center defensive midfielder position for us or loaned out. Zagadou is great and want to see him get an extension, and I hope he's healthy and stays healthy. Yep, and I agree. And I think Zagadou's more than likely on this list. I think Zagadou's towards the top of re-signing, in my opinion. No way McKennie should come. McKennie was honestly such a good player right now for Juventus. I personally would have took him, but I know that wouldn't have been an option due to his Schalke past. Dahoud, sell Witsel, bring in Neuhaus, and Jude and Delaney and Neuhaus. That would be a nice midfielder. A little trio there, and we were going to be touching on some transfer windows very shortly as we have an episode coming out for you guys. I think you guys will enjoy. I think if we have to re-sign one of them, it would be Dahoud. I think you're trying to make jokes, Sancho Flo, and I like that about you, I really do. But yeah, I mean, Dahoud's not going to get re-signed. Let's be completely honest here. And we need a right back. No hate on Mounier, Murai, but we need a right back. We do, but I promise you it will not be addressed. I don't see us signing a right back for many times unless we're able to flip Thomas Meunier, to be completely honest. I know we say it every year, but I'm confident we will win the Bundesliga next season. Well, I mean, I don't know, man. It's going to take a lot. It's going to take the manager, whoever it is, going to hit the ground running. We're going to need some personnel that fits this team. It's going to take a good chunk of work to see if that worked. But Kaltakar, yeah, the Marseille center back. I mean, I like what he's done. He's a very young Croatian. Him and Boubacar Kamara are two center backs from Marseille that I would be happy to see at this club. There's a ton of center backs out there, and I think a solid center back signing in the summer's got to be the number one opinion. I mean, we were told today from Zorc that it's not going to be happening, that we're going to sign someone in January. So we're more than likely going to see out the rest of the season with honestly, the center backs that we have, which can be kind of scary considering we only have 2 that are fit right now. We should get Morata as a backup. I don't believe Morata is going to go anywhere. I think that he's very happy in Turin with Juve, mainly because his wife is back to where she, belongs. But I think Morata is going to be in Juve. And for his sake, I hope for a while because he's finding a little bit of form. And this is going to be our very last question here today, and it's going to be Allegri would be a good manager for Dortmund. And you guys heard my rant on Allegri. I think he absolutely would have been a good fit here at Dortmund. But when it comes to managers not being able to speak can't speak German. Producer T's laughing. It comes down to the fact that he's just not a candidate. I mean, more than likely, like I said, unless Terzic has a huge turnaround, it could be him, it could be Jesse Marsch, but more than likely it's going to be Marco Rose for the start of next season. And then Marco Rose can do what Marco Rose does then. He's going to look for some personnel that's going to fit the way that he plays. He'll probably sell a few players, sign a few players, and just have a bit of a little reshuffle here, and it'll be kind of exciting to see. But I hope you guys did enjoy this little episode. I thought it was very cool seeing the contract situation because a lot of times that's kind of behind the news scene. I saw a nice picture of it today. That's why I wanted to do this episode with you guys. And a lot of you guys are kind of seeming like you're having the same thoughts as I do when it comes to these different contracts. But only time will tell. It'll be very important to see what happens in the future with these expiring contracts and where the rebuild's going to go that way. So guys, I hope you did enjoy this. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're new around here, and we will see you next time.